Hey y'all, welcome to our third devlog. Today is a special episode where we are removing a feature rather than adding a feature to make room for something even better. If you're intrigued, stay till the end. I'll explain what I removed, why, and what it opens the doors for. I'm excited. Before we begin, I just want to say thank you all. The love, the support, the comments, the messages I've got so far on the first two episodes has been amazing, has been motivating. It makes me really excited to share this journey with you all. And now let's get into it. Today's episode will have 3 topics, and I'll have another one coming up pretty soon. I have almost the other features ready. We'll talk about finishing up coyote timing. We'll talk about NPCs joining the party, or at least the first initial version. And then we'll talk about that big removal. Now, believe it or not, most of these features were done at like 3,000 feet in the air. A lot of it was done on an airplane during a little bit of travel. Honestly, it wasn't as bad as I thought. It forced me to think without using the internet, and I was able to fix a few problems as I was going through. Let's get started. First, let's talk about coyote timing. So if you remember from the last episode, we talked about improving jump movement. Basically, the gist is you end up leaving the platform, but you still have a little bit of a buffer that allows you to still jump. And this forgiving nature allows people to still jump and not have to time it exactly perfectly right when they leave the platforms. The way we did this is we added a timer. So once you leave the ground, the timer starts. When that timer is active, you are still able to jump even when not on a platform. Now, once that timer ends though, you will not be able to jump anymore. Fun fact, during testing, I accidentally set the timer way too high to test it. My character could fly. So maybe someday we turn this into a feature during another level where you can kind of fly or turn it into a Flappy Bird-esque level. So we'll see. Next, we have NPCs. They're joining the party, they're joining the game, and you can interact with them. So what I did is I added just a blank template start for an NPC. This NPC can hold custom dialogue. You can trigger text when you walk near them, and this will allow them to share stories. I used the @export tag for the text, which will allow me in the inspector to change the text that the NPC shows. So when I walk up to the NPC, I see text, and I can see that this character used to be an adventurer. And if you go a little bit more in the game, you can see it might have been because of an arrow. So who knows? I've got plans for some movement and some animations later for the NPCs, but at first I just want to see, can I, from scratch, without the art, turn this into a feature? And it worked. Okay, now is the big reveal. We removed, drumroll please, the checkpoint system. I know I mentioned this in the very first episode. I did not like how the checkpoint system was made. It had way too many bugs, made it impossible to add new features, and it just got in the way for everything. In most games, you can take multiple hit points or multiple damage, and then you die. With the checkpoint system, it was basically you either die or you're alive. And that just didn't work. So I had to remove the checkpoint system, and which is okay. It's okay to take away features in a game if it opens the door for other features. Down the line, I'm gonna add a checkpoint system. And now we have UI that shows health. I first initially built it showing the label that just said health equals 3. And then I thought, you know what? We're going to go to the next level. We're going to add hearts. So we used Google Drive again. We brought it back and we just put a heart and we exported it as a PNG. And now if you have 3 health, it shows 3 health. If you have 2 health, it shows 2 health. And I even built it where if you can have a pickup later down the line, you can add a 4th health bar. This was a nice feature. It allowed me to learn H separators, V separators, and expand my knowledge of how UI works within Godot. I have 2 variables for health. The first one is full player health, and this tracks what the player's full health should be. And then I have current player health. So whenever you start the game, current player health equals full player health. And I have 2 signals. So I have a signal that signals when the health has been updated and a signal when to reload the health. Now, I use signals so I don't have to put everything within the function process. And the function process calls every frame of the game. When it calls every single frame of the game, that becomes more intensive on the game. But if I add in a signal that emits whenever a function happens, it'll allow me to not add as much impact to the game. Now, the first signal, health updated, once this function is called, it sends it over to the UI and health is subtracted. Next, whenever you die and your character has 0 or less health, it'll emit a signal to reload the health to the full player health. And so that is all for today. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you're going to be really excited for the next one, though. We are going to get into a feature that I was going to not talk about, but I'm going to talk about briefly. We got level switching added in. So we can now go from level 1 to level 2 to level 3 to level infinity, however many levels we want. I'm excited. It's a fun feature, and it took me way too long, but I'm excited to talk about it. So see you in the next one. Thank you all.